I was just wondering if you wanted to hang out with me and smoke weed and fill our bellies with diet soda and play Burnout Revenge for the PS2.
Oh, go on then.
Alright boys and girls, I hope you're having a lovely day. Okay, today boys, I want to talk about the Burnout series, and I want to sort of discuss why I think EA should bring it back. Now, I've got to be totally honest with you guys, I am not the biggest fan of racing games, okay? I don't play every single racing game that comes out. I only really sort of mess with arcade racers, and even then, I've not played that many. I've played Midnight Club 2, which I think is super good. I've played the MotorStorm series, which is super good. I've obviously played the Burnout games. I've recently been getting into Ridge Racer, which I'm really enjoying. But yeah, I don't have a super, like, a ridiculous amount of experience with racing games. I've played a few, and I like a few, but I haven't played that many. With all that said though, boys, I absolutely love the Burnout games, okay? I've not played all of the Burnout games, I've played a handful, but every single one I've played I think are just so good. Currently, as we speak, boys, the only Burnout games I've actually played are these three right here. So we've got Burnout 3, we've got Burnout Paradise, and we've got Burnout Legends. I do really want to play Burnout Revenge. I've heard that one is super good, so I do want to get hold of that one and play it very soon. As for the original two, I haven't played those ones because my brother said they weren't that good, and my brother was actually the one that sort of put me onto the Burnout games.
He will say bad things, but that is because he is a liar.
He basically told me to forget the first two Burnouts and just go straight for Burnout 3, and I mean, to be fair, Burnout 3 is absolutely amazing, so I can't discredit that. But yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, if you played the first two Burnout games. Are they worth playing? Are they not? Let me know. Alright then, boys, let's get into why I think EA should bring this series back. I mean, let's just be real here. They're fucking fun, alright? They're fun games. I don't know how you guys feel, but I could not give a crap about simulation racing games, and I feel like that's all we get nowadays is simulation racers. What happened to arcade racers? They have just vanished from space. Like, we just don't get arcade racing games anymore. Back in like the sort of PS2 era, we used to get tons of amazing arcade racers, and I'm like slowly discovering some of those games like the Burnout games and like the Ridge Racer games and having so much fun with those games, but we just don't get them anymore. The racing games we get nowadays are just super hyper focused on the realism side of racing, and I want these fun arcade racers to come back, particularly Burnout, because Burnout does arcade racing better than any other series in my opinion. Like, take Burnout 3 for example, guys, okay? This game is just a pure adrenaline rush, okay? The speed at which you drive in this game is on another planet. It plays so quick. Smashing into cars in Burnout 3 is some of the most fun I've ever had in a racing game. This game is just pure and utter fun. This is probably my favourite racing game of all time, and the only reason I say probably is that I recently played Ridge Racer Type 4, and it's between those two, okay? For my favourite racing game of all time, it's either Burnout 3 or Ridge Racer Type 4. I love those games so much that it's hard to decide, but Burnout 3 probably is my favourite. I absolutely love this game's soundtrack. The soundtrack is 10 out of 10. Visually, this game is way ahead of its time. This game looks incredible for a PS2 game. The different events in this game are super fun. Like, you've got the Takedown event, for example, where you literally just have to smash as many cars as possible. It is my favorite sort of like racing game mode probably ever, because it's just so satisfying. There's just something about playing these Burnout games and smashing into cars. It feels so good. Like, if you've played these games, you know what I'm talking about. It just has never felt better.
That I absolutely love.
So like I was saying before, guys, the speed of these games, like, I don't even know how they were able to do this on the PS2, because the PS2 is not super powerful. So the fact that they were able to get you like driving at these incredible speeds with like virtually zero performance issues, like there's no frame rate issues or anything like that, it's honestly crazy. This game plays so fun, so fast, okay? When you're boosting with nitrous and you're going at 1,000,000 miles per hour, it is absolute insanity. See, I absolutely love Burnout 3, boys. I think it's the perfect racing game, and I can only imagine like this kind of game but with modern technology. Like, could you imagine Burnout 3 but with the PS5? Like, it would blow my mind. We're now 3 consoles ahead of when this game was made, okay? Like, that you literally could make the perfect Burnout game on PS5 with like current technology. It would be absolutely crazy, and that's why I want EA to bring this series back, okay? Like, just leave Need for Speed, you know, for a few years. You've made enough Need for Speed games, EA. Bring back Burnout, please. So yeah, in terms of the other Burnout games you've played, lads, okay, I have played Burnout Paradise, which is very recently. I only played this game like a month ago, so I'll talk about that one. And then we've also got Burnout Legends. I've not played a lot of this one. I've only played it a little bit. I basically just picked it up because I wanted a portable version of Burnout, and it's literally that. Like, this game is pretty much Burnout 3 but portable, and I was saying how impressive this is for a PS2 game. this might be even more impressive. This is probably my favorite PSP racing game because it is mind-blowing how good the performance is on the PSP. And the PSP had some pretty good racing games, okay, there's lots of bangers on there, but yeah, the fact that this runs as well as it does on a portable console is absolutely insane. The performance is incredible, the speed is there, the smashing cars is just as fun. This is such an incredible port. I can't believe how good this is. So yeah, if I ever go camping and I've got my PSP, this is like one of the first games I'll be picking up and playing, alright? I've played a little bit of it so far, I didn't get super far with it, but I definitely want to play more of it because it is so good. It's
fantastic.
And of course, guys, we've got the final Burnout game that I've played, and that is Burnout Paradise. Now, this one was a bit of a strange one because, like I said, I played it a month ago, I wasn't really too sure what to expect with it, and I started playing it, and I didn't like it. Like, I really was not a fan of this. I'm such a massive fan of Burnout 3 that when I was playing Burnout Paradise and I was realizing the differences, it just wasn't clicking with me, you know? Like, you've got the open world, I wasn't really enjoying that. The navigation in this game is super weird, so like when you're doing racing, it's not like linear how it is in Burnout 3. It basically lets you drive wherever you want, and you sort of have to navigate using road signs. It's really confusing at first, and in general, I just wasn't enjoying this game, okay? I played it for about an hour and a half, and I really didn't like it, but I stuck with it, boys, alright? I kept playing, and I kept playing, and I kept playing, and it just slowly started to click with me, and I realized just how good of a game this is. It's not as good as Burnout 3, Burnout 3 is definitely better for me, but this is fantastic. You're driving around the open world with your different vehicles, and you can like unlock vehicles in this game, which is pretty cool. You basically have to like take out the cars in order to unlock them, which I thought was cool. So yeah, you're going through the game, you're going through the open world, and you're picking up different events, so you can do races and takedowns and stunt challenges, that sort of thing, and you basically just go from place to place, and you just complete events until you finish the game, basically, and it's incredibly fun. Like, it is really good. It took a while to get used to it, you know, because it is different to what I was expecting, you know, in regards to Burnout 3, but once I got used to it, I really enjoyed it. However, guys, I will say it's definitely not a perfect game. Like, for one, the load times in this game are pretty terrible. It takes ages to actually load the game up initially for some reason. It takes like a good few minutes to get into the open world. And the worst thing with the load times by far, guys, is when you want to change your car. That shit takes fucking ages for some reason, so I did not like that. For some reason, the PS3 had some really dodgy load times with a lot of games, and this is one of them.
Get this bum out of here, will you? Just get this bum out of here already.
But that's just a small little negative, boys. It's not really a big deal at the end of the day, because this game is great. Like, there's so many good things about this game. Like, you've even got motorbikes in this game now. Like, Burnout 3 is good, but you don't have motorbikes. You're doing this one, though. And of course, the best thing about this game, guys, is the speed of it, okay? Just like Burnout 3, when you're racing and you're going and, you know, you're at full gear and you're pumping that nitrous and you're going at 1,000,000 miles per hour, dodging traffic, and then chances are you end up hitting a fucking roadside and crashing your car into 1,000,000 pieces. But that shit is just adrenaline pumping. It's so fun. I will say, though, boys, as you're hitting those crazy speeds, I would have liked a little bit of a better soundtrack here. The soundtrack in Burnout Paradise is no way near as good as Burnout Takedown. The soundtrack just hits with this one. With Paradise, not quite the same. But yeah, that's not to say this is a bad game at all, guys. This game is incredibly fun. It took a while to get used to. I wasn't loving the open world at first, but it definitely grew on me and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, definitely not as good as Burnout 3.
This is brilliant, but I like this.
So yeah, that's pretty much all of my thoughts on the Burnout games, guys. Like I said, those are the only 3 that I've played so far. I definitely want to play some of the others. I'm still not sure if I should play the original 2, so do let me know. But yeah, I just want this series to come back, guys, because I can just literally picture it in my head with like modern graphics on a PS5 playing like Burnout 3. Like, if it was a remake or something like that would just be crazy. But even just like a reboot of this series would just be amazing. Like, imagine they just called it Burnout. People would be queuing up outside to buy it immediately. Like, it would be so good if they brought this series back in some way. The last Burnout game we had was Burnout Paradise, which is absolutely ages ago. We did get a remaster for it, but yeah, I want to see a fresh new take on this series. I feel like EA has really sort of hit the limit with the Need for Speed series. They've made so many of those games, and the most recent outing just wasn't anything to go crazy over. So I feel like now is the time to bring the Burnout games back. But let me know in the comments, boys, do you agree? Do you like the Burnout games? Do you want to see it come back? Or tell me that you don't want to see it back. I'd be surprised if anybody has that opinion, though. But yeah, just let me know your thoughts on the Burnout series. I would love to know how you guys feel about this series in the comments. Other than that, though, boys and girls, subscribe here if you're new, and I'll see you guys next one, alright? Peace.